Hello, students. On the request of again of some students, where they asked me to prepare a video where we are supposed to calculate the probabilities, then upward and the downward trend. So this is the question which I have taken again from your option futures and other derivatives book of John C. Hill, and I have just tweaked something in the question. So let's see how to solve this one. So as usual, we will go through the question, list down the information, and then we will work on to the calculation part of it. So if you go through the question, it says that calculate U, that is upward, D, that is downward, and P, which is probability when a binomial tree is constructed to value an option on a foreign currency. The binomial tree step size is 1 month, considering the spot rate is 121. So let's list down. We wanted to calculate U. Okay, U is not given, D is not given, and P is also not given. This is what we have to calculate. Then we have spot rate, which is given as $121. And then we have a domestic rate. So we have a domestic rate as 5%, and we have a rate which is foreign is equal to 8%. Volatility, which means standard deviation, is given as 12% per annum, and K as given as $121. Right? So let's see that in case if in your question upward, downward, and probability is not given, then how to calculate this? So the first and foremost thing that we have to calculate is to calculate the value of an upward, is to calculate the value of an basically the E, which means that if I just write the formula for calculating that ERT, if you remember whenever we calculate the probability, this is what we always look for, right? So you have an ERT, then D downward, U upward. So this is the formula for calculating the probability. Unfortunately, in this question, probability is not given, U is not given, D is not given. So the first and foremost thing we will do is to calculate our ERT, right? So our ERT is basically, this is what we wanted to calculate. We are going to substitute this with e as exponential. Then we will look for that what is the domestic rate, right? So this is always the rate here is 2, so you're coming across two rates. One is domestic, another one is in foreign interest rate. So as per the formula, the rate that you have to take is a difference between these two. And how about the difference means that rate in domestic minus rate in foreign, right? That's a rate, and then you will multiply this by t. Okay, so let me substitute the formula with the number. So we have E, then the rate which is given for domestic is 0.05, for foreign it is 0.08. Please make sure that you follow the questions. And then the time frame is just 1 month, which means multiplied by 1 by 12. Okay. If we will calculate, we will find that 0.9975 will be the E. So we have calculated the first part of it, right? Then based on this, we are supposed to calculate U as well. U means upward trend. So upward trend can be calculated using basically the formula, which is E standard deviation and then root of your time. This is the formula, okay, for calculating your upward trend. Again, we will substitute this. So exponential, the standard deviation which is given is 0.12, which means 12%, and time again is 1 by 12. So our answer here will be 1.0352. Again, based on this, we have to calculate a downward trend. And once you are able to calculate your ERT and upward trend, downward is probably very easy. And if you follow this formula, which means 1 divided by your upward trend, right? Which means 1.0352. That will give you 0.9660. And this is what your downward trend is. That's it. Now you have all of these information with you. So I'll just list down what all things we have calculated. We have calculated your ERT, wherein we have incorporated R as domestic as well as considering the foreign currency, foreign interest rate. And so ERT in our case, this is the calculated figure is this. Then we have upward trend, which is 1.0352. Then we have the downward trend, which is 0.9660. And now let's put the whole figure into the formula of the probability. So the probability is equal to ERT minus D divided by U minus D, and that's how you are free to plug your all figures here. So 0.9975 minus 0.9660 divided by upward trend, which is 1.0352 minus 0.9660. If you calculate this, you will get your answer as 0.4553, and that's your probability upward, right? So similarly, we can also calculate the probability into downward, which will be, say if it is, this one is P, so Q you have to calculate, which is 1 minus 0.4553, which means 1 minus 0.4553 is equal to 0.5447. Now the thing is this, that based on this we have to create a one period binomial tree taking into consideration our spot rate. So we'll just quickly have a glance as to what is the spot rate, and here is the question. So our spot rate is 121, right? So our, so we will look into it that 121 going up, going down, right? And what is the chance of going up? So upward trend, you know, you already calculated that 121 multiplied by 1.0352. If you do this, you are going to get your answer as 125.2592. And then it is a downward trend. In a downward trend, it is going down by 0.9660, which means it will be 116.886, right? So this is the new spot rate here. So I'll just write it as 125.2592, and this one is 116.886. Now it is a call option having K as 122. So here we will just compare the S, that is a spot rate, with K, and our spot rate is basically greater than K, and therefore he is going to exercise, right? Here this is spot rate is basically lesser than your K, and he is going to let it lapse. So if it is going to lapse, we will have it as 0, and if at all he is going to exercise, we wanted to know how much will be is his payoff, and the payoff will be 125.2592 minus 122, which will give you an answer of 3.2592, 2592, right? And that's what the payoff, if he is going to exercise. Based on this, we can calculate our value as well. Okay, so let's come down and calculate the value. But before we do that, we have to write the probabilities that we have calculated, right? So the probability, if you remember, we have calculated as for the upward trend, which is 0.4553, and the probability in the downside is 0.447. So it will be 0.5447. And finally, the last part of it, that what is the value of this European option, which is equal to payoff, which is 3.2592, okay, multiplied by the probability for upward trend. So probability for upward trend is 0.444553, and plus the another one is lap, so no need to do so. And then the downward is basically your ERT. If you remember, your ERT was 0.9975. Once you solve this, you're going to get your answer as 1.4876, and that is what the value of this option. Thank you and all the very best.